Now, I'm not going to say I told you so. I'm not going to say that I said this all series when the Nuggets were playing against the Suns with Facundo Campazzo, Austin Rivers, Monte Morris banged up, Will Barton by game 4, and having no PJ Dozier, no Jamal Murray, no healthy Will Barton, playing with Shaq Harrison, Facundo Campazzo, Marcus Howard. I said all series that if the Denver Nuggets had a competent backcourt, that series wouldn't have looked like that. It at least would have gone deep 6 or 7 games without Jamal Murray. I've said all offseason that the Denver Nuggets needed to get healthy. They needed to get athletic in the backcourt. And once they got their pieces together, they got the folks to get the job done. All offseason, we listened to Suns fans. And again, let me be clear, not all Suns fans, but the loud Suns fan. I saw Suns beat writers all talking hard mess. Ayton is stopping Jokic. Jamal Murray ain't that great of a player to make a difference in that series. It don't matter that you were played even with Will Barton on the court because you know what? Jokic was a fraud last year. That was the stuff we've been hearing. Well, all offseason, that chirping's been going on. All offseason, Jokic, the reigning league MVP, the rightful MVP, best player in the NBA, he been listening. All offseason, Michael Porter Jr. was listening to y'all disrespect his name. Even today, I'm hearing that folks are second guessing him saying he ain't worth the contract. All offseason, people have been doubting Will Barton III. Everybody was talking. But when it was time to put up or shut up, the MVP showed up. I'm SwipaCam. Welcome to the channel. I just got done watching the Denver Nuggets playing against the Phoenix Suns on October 20th, 2021, and the Phoenix Suns get blown out 110-98. 110-98. Because the MVP of the NBA heard you talking. He heard you talking. And he said, I'm about to tell y'all a quick story. Let me put y'all to sleep. 27 points, 13 rebounds, 2 assists, 13 of 22 from the field, over 50%, only 1 of 6 from the three-point line, no free throws, 2 steals, was a game high plus 28. Well, how about the so-called Nikola Jokic stopper and Deandre Ayton, who I like, by the way. 15 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 6 of 10, 1 of 3, 2 of 2, but oh, guess what? Minus 15. The MVP of the NBA was plus 28 tonight against the Phoenix Suns, reigning Western Conference champions. He put in that work. He put in that work. But guess what? It don't stop there. Because we're watching the ascension of another player. We're watching the ascension of a future top 10 NBA player. You've been listening, SwipaCam, to this channel. You know how I feel about this man, Michael Porter Jr. We are watching the ascension of a player who's starting to put it together, who only took 10 shots tonight, yet he was a great facilitator. Great facilitator. So great, in fact, that he was second on the team in assists tonight. Michael Porter Jr. in 34 minutes had 15 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 6 of 10 from the field, 2 of 3 from the three-point line, 1 of 1 from the free throw line with 2 steals, and was a second in the game high, plus 24 tonight. And he was dropping absolute dimers today. Dimer. I'm talking about passing up jump shots to get other people involved. That's how you elevate your game. That's how you take your game from being a great scorer, historically great scorer, to becoming an all-around offensive juggernaut. Because I know he can score 39 in a game. I know he can score 50 eventually this season. I know he can give you 25 a night. Can you get other people involved? And he did that tonight to open up the season. He let shots pass him by. But don't sleep. Don't sleep. When the moment came, he's a dead-eye shooter. Michael Porter Jr. played an exceptional game. He had great defensive spurts today. Great defensive spurts. Great defensive energy. He missed a couple plays. Mikal Bridges in the second quarter, I want to say, caused some issues. Got 2 back doors on him. One was a 3, one was a dunk. But all around, man, 15, 6, and 5 for Michael Porter Jr. to open up the season. Now, think about where he was at this point in time last year and how much further he's come along. Again, I heard these Phoenix Suns beat writers talking about he ain't worth the max contract and he's overrated. Well, yeah, guess what? You're going to find out. Don't worry. Will Barton III, man. I've been telling y'all, Will Barton with this starting lineup with Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, with Nikola Jokic, with Michael Porter Jr. is one of the best shooting guards in the NBA, period. Tonight, Will Barton, 34 minutes, 20 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 8 of 14 from the field, 4 of 8 from the three-point line, 1 steal, plus 20. And it would have been higher if he didn't play with the bench, which we'll talk about here in a minute. Will Barton tonight, 20 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists. 2-man game with Jokic popping. Great decision-making. Great ball handling. And guess what? 0 turnovers. So all y'all that's always got something to say about Will Barton. He shot 8 of 14 from the field, 4 of 8 from the three-point line, including step back, played good defense, and had 0 turnovers with 5 assists. Say what you want. Yoke loves playing with this man. Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, they all enjoy playing with him. Michael Malone trusts him. So Nuggets Nation, if you don't trust or like Will Barton, you need to rethink your position. 26 and 5 on dope efficiency. One of the reasons they won tonight. Aaron Gordon tonight had a great freaking game. 29 minutes, 12 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists. On 5 of 6 from the freaking field. 1 of 1 from the three-point line. 1 of 2 from the free throw line. Plus 22. Played great defense and 5 of 6 because that man is on his way. On his way. He's going to have the easiest season of his life offensively if he does everything he's supposed to do within the flow of the offense. Cutters, open corner three-pointers, getting to the rack, going hard, play great defense, get your rebounds. If Aaron Gordon can somehow, while Jamal Murray is down, average 16, 6, and 5, 16, 6, and 4, that's going to be an amazing plus because he needs to be going for Defensive Player of the Year, at least one of the All-NBA teams. We'll get back to all that later on. Monte Morris tonight, 28 minutes, 9 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 of 8, 3 of 6, and he was a plus 18 tonight. Went ham. So starters were great. Again, Jokic plus 28, Michael Porter Jr. plus 24, Will Barton plus 20, Aaron Gordon plus 22, Monte Morris plus 18. The Phoenix Suns starters minus 23, minus 21, minus 18, minus 24, minus 7. For all that talking, and again, y'all, when I'm saying this isn't me saying like, hey, the Denver Nuggets, if this was a series, they're beating them 4-0. What I am saying, I'm going to get you the rest of that in a minute, but when you put a competent team together in the backcourt for the Nuggets with Yoke, it changes the game, which it did tonight. I want to get to individually to the bench, and then we're going to talk about the bench as a whole. PJ Dozier tonight was a minus 7, 10 points, 5 rebounds, 3 of 4 from the three-point line, 1 of 2 from the free throw line. Facundo Campazzo, no points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 0 of 3, minus 6. Jeff Green, 13 points, 1 and 1, 4 and 9, 3 and 6 from the three-point line, 2 of 2 from the free throw line, a minus 10. JaMychal Green, only 2 points and 2 rebounds, not minus 16. Austin Rivers only played 8 minutes today. In the second quarter, and it was terrible. 2 points, 1 of 3, 0 of 2, and he was a minus 13 in 8 minutes. So let's talk about this. The bench in that first half was horrible. Let me just walk you through this. In the first quarter, when Nikola Jokic went out, I want to say they were up 26-15 when Jokic went out of the game with about 1:08 left or so. They were up 26-15. Jokic had 10 points and 4 rebounds in the first quarter, and he was already giving Ayton problems. You saw it on his face. This is game time. It's go time. I'm finna give everybody the business. 10 and 4. Michael Porter Jr. had hit a couple shots. It wasn't nothing crazy, though. They were just going. The first quarter was just going really well. They were playing together. Defense was excellent. They were taking smart shots. They were hitting their shots. Pace was slow, just the way they like it. It was 26-15. Yoke goes out, and all of a sudden the quarter ends 26-20, and you already knew what was coming. Michael Malone decided to put the full bench in the second quarter, which was Facundo Campazzo. It was Austin Rivers. It was JaMychal Green, Jeff Green, and P.J. Dozier. By the time Yoke got in, remember, he went in up 11. By the time Yoke got back in the game, about 6:50 left, 6:30 left in the second quarter, they were down 4. It was a 15-point swing. 15 points. Facundo Campazzo is an offensive liability right now. Again, we have talked about it repeatedly, that if he's not offering great man-to-man on-ball defense, which he did in spurts tonight, especially against CP3, if he's not doing that, he has no value for this team. Because once again, if you have a player that small who's not contributing offensively and can't help in help side defense, it puts the rest of the team in a bind. Not that Facu is a bad player. The team struggles because they don't have the size without a main center, without an actual center. They don't have the size to make up for any mistakes he makes. Or, again, the lack of offensive threat. Because tonight, again, y'all, he was 0 of 3, played 20 minutes, and had 0 points. He was the only player the Nuggets played tonight that didn't have any points. So that's the thing, y'all. Like, he's a creator, but you have to be an offensive threat. So when Facu and Austin Rivers in the game, it was lights out. And so I also wanted to bring this up. The reason that Chris Paul and Devin Booker and Cameron Payne absolutely blitzed the Denver Nuggets in the playoffs. Yeah, they're good players. Great to good, great to very good players. But when you're playing against Facundo Campazzo at 5'9" and Austin Rivers at 6'2", and they are not starting NBA guards, and you play them for 30 minutes a game, you're going to get worked. Worked. Because they don't have it tonight. You saw it. They couldn't even keep up with Cameron Payne. Cameron Payne. They're not big enough. They don't have the it factor. And on top of that, Bones Highland outplayed the both of them in preseason. But you know Michael Malone. Let me go ahead and say this. It was frustrating to watch Bones Highland not get any tick. I get it. But Michael Malone is always slow with rookies. Bones will play. I wouldn't be surprised if he plays next game over Austin Rivers. See, Facu, he feels like needs to play because while Monte is creating in the starting unit, which we're going to talk about as well, then Facu has to be there to facilitate for the second unit. The problem that I'm having, though, is P.J. Dozier is more useful. While Jamal Murray is out, P.J. Dozier is more useful as a defensive perimeter stopper at point guard than Monte Morris being in that lineup next to Yoke, next to this ascending Michael Porter Jr., and next to Will Barton. It's more useful to have P.J. Dozier at 6'6", stopping penetration and playing great defense, which he played great defense today. So I think that's going to have to be a change that they look at in the near future, like within the next 8 to 12 games, hopefully, putting P.J. Dozier in the starting lineup. Because it just doesn't make sense. And again, you can kick out one of Facu and Austin and play Bones. I'd rather see Monte Morris. I honestly would rather see Monte. So again, if I had to say P.J. Dozier's in the starting unit and we had to make a second unit, I would say Monte Morris, Bones Highland, Jeff Green, Bol, if you got to play 10, and JaMychal Green. And I would honestly cut Austin Rivers and cut Facundo Campazzo out of the lineup. Because Bones, you need a creator and scorer. And Bones is going to stretch the court for you to make it easier. But that's the strength, though. So that's also the thing about the second unit. If the second unit strength is supposed to be defense and three-point shooting. JaMychal Green and Jeff Green are both 40+% three-point shooters. P.J. Dozier shot like 37% from three last year. If Facu's not going to score, put Bones Highland in. Because there's enough defenders with P.J. on the court and Monte coming back in to where you can play great defense and still get shots off. But you need a penetrator, somebody who can penetrate and score, not just penetrate and kick. So it was abysmal in the second quarter when that second unit came in. It didn't look good. Everyone was frustrated about it on Twitter. But the starters came back in. They got all the way down 16 at one point. Starters finally got their rhythm back because when the starters first came back in, down 4, when Jokic came back in, it stretched all the way to 16 because they had no rhythm. The second unit had lost all the rhythm. So now the starters come back in. Thankfully, they're able to close the half and be down only 50 to 56. Not terrible. But then the starters put it on them, man. The starters came back in that third quarter and literally just took the game away from the Phoenix Suns. But again, y'all, this is why it's just so stressful. Will Barton makes the difference in that last series because he's long at 6'5", but he's a playmaking scoring combo guard. And when you have a 6'5" combo guard who can play defense but also play, make, and score for other people, once again testified by a 26-5 night to open the season, it changes everything. He's a good player. Will Barton has very good games like he did tonight, and he has good games. Rarely does he have bad games, but he has good games, and then he has these moments like this where it's 26-5. And y'all got to remember, Will Barton last year, when Jamal Murray was out, it was Will Barton Jokic two-man game versus the Memphis Grizzlies when Jokic had 47 points, but it was Will Barton put up 22 points that game. Was hitting shots. So, man, like, when they started to then take over the game, what Michael Malone did to change it up is said, you know what? We're going to keep MPJ in the game. We're going to when we take MPJ out, we're going to put Will Barton in the game. And then we're going to let that play out, and then we're going to bring Jokic back, take Barton out. And then we're going to let the starters come back in with about 6.5 minutes in the fourth quarter, and it worked. When the bench went out, the Nuggets were still up 7 by the time they went out in the fourth quarter. That's all you need to ask for. Just hold the lead. I don't need you to balloon it. But that's the thing. That's what happened, though. At some point, the Nuggets ballooned the lead in the fourth quarter because they just had all the dogs. And again, they were playing great defense, y'all. Tonight, Devin Booker, and this is the thing, Devin Booker tonight, 12, 4, and 4 on 3 of 15 from the field and 2 of 7 from the three-point line. It was a minus 24, worst on the team. Devin Booker has traditionally not always played well against the Denver Nuggets. Because, again, it's the way that they play defense. It's the way his game is constructed. But, of course, he killed them for 25 points per game, 27. But he was playing against Facu and Austin, man. So what I'm telling y'all, that is going to make the difference because that's already the best starting 5 in the NBA with Jamal Murray. And it's one of the best starting 5 with Monte Morris or with PJ Dozier. Having Will Barton, having Aaron Gordon, having MPJ, having Jokic changes everything, man. So it was a great, great game. It's a great retribution for those of us that know how good the Nuggets are, that they are a contending team. With Jamal Murray, they're a favorite, one of the 3 favorites in the NBA, I would say. They're a contending team without him. And again, it's early just to start the season, but you like seeing the Nuggets put up a fight, the Nuggets come out and get a dub, and the Nuggets come out and you watch the MVP, Nikola Jokic, give up 27 and 13, and he only took 22 shots and 13 to 22, over 50%. 3-point percentage wasn't great, but he was a plus 28. So again, kill that Ayton stops Jokic narrative. That's not how it worked, man. People gave him problems, but Clay Capella gave him problems. He figured them out. Miles Turner gave him problems. He figured them out. Dwight Howard gave him problems. He figured them out. Joel Embiid gave him problems. He figured them out. And it's the same thing, DeAndre Ayton, man. DeAndre Ayton is a great player, a great defender. But Jokic's going to figure him out because that's what they do, man. That's what your elite of elite. That's what your MVPs, your Michael Jordan, your LeBron James, your Giannis Antetokounmpo, they're just going to figure it out. That's basketball. He's not always going to dominate him like he did tonight, but he's figured him out, man. He had a 30-20-10 game last year, so it wasn't like he was getting blown out. But that's the thing, man. Michael Porter Jr. tonight, man, was excellent. This is the evolution of Michael Porter Jr. Ball handler, creator, scorer. Tracy McGrady in 2021 with a Kevin Durant-like three-point shot that you can't stop. I want to see Michael Porter Jr. shooting 20 shots a game. I really want to see it happen. It will come. That volume probably is coming next game. It will come. He played within himself tonight. He could have shot more. The Nuggets need to continue to work him into the offense, but he played excellent tonight. Y'all, what a great game. What a way to start the season for the Denver Nuggets. The Denver Nuggets will be back. They will be back on Friday against San Antonio at 9 o'clock. Or 7 o'clock, rather. Y'all, man. Then they got Cleveland, and then they got Utah, man. So, look, we will be back here at SwipaCam. Subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Twitter, and I'll see y'all soon.